A shocking scene occurred ahead of the 28th birthday of Jungkook, the Maknae of BTS, who is known as one of the biggest global icons today. His residence, which should have been the safest and most peaceful place in a personal moment, was instead filled with police officers under tight security. A big question then arises. Why should the house of a world-class artist turn into a guarded area as if facing a serious threat? Is this merely a precautionary measure, or is there truly an indication of real danger targeting Jungkook? The fact that this happened right before his birthday makes the situation even more tense. The presence of a large number of police around Jungkook's neighborhood is not something that can be considered normal. Many fans questioned what was really happening, especially when strong rumors said that saesangs were once again targeting this BTS Maknae. Sasaeng, a term for obsessive fans who often violate idols' privacy, has long been a frightening scourge for K-pop artists. But this time the situation seems different. The threat comes right at the time of a personal celebration, when public attention is focused on Jungkook. The question is, to what extent will that obsession sacrifice the limits of safety? Loyal ARMY fans are certainly shocked and furious. How could someone who has given happiness to millions of people instead be forced to celebrate his special day under the shadow of fear? According to various unofficial reports from around the site, the police appeared ready to face the potential arrival of people forcing their way in just to say happy birthday directly. This scenario is no longer imagination, but a real threat that has repeatedly occurred in the Korean entertainment world. Jungkook, with his global popularity, becomes an easy target for those who do not hesitate to break the law to fulfill their personal obsession. The question is, what exactly do saesangs think when they dare to approach an artist in his private sphere? Many terrifying possibilities can happen. Sasaengs might hire a taxi and follow Jungkook days beforehand, waiting for a careless moment to approach his home. There are also reports that they often pretend to be delivery staff, food couriers, or even technicians to gain access to an artist's residence. More extreme, some have even climbed fences, sneaked through the back, or even tried to forcibly open the artist's car door. All these actions show just how dangerous uncontrolled obsession can be. This condition raises a bigger question. Is the security provided truly sufficient to protect a figure as big as Jungkook? The presence of police does give the impression of protection, but reality shows that saesang threats are often unpredictable. They have irrational yet effective ways to approach idols. In the digital era like now, personal information of artists is more easily leaked. Addresses, phone numbers, even travel schedules can be spread in seconds. If such information falls into the wrong hands, real threats cannot be avoided. What makes this situation even more worrying is the fact that this is not the first time Jungkook has had to face obsessive fans. On several previous occasions, various reports stated that individuals tried to follow the vehicles he was in, even abroad. Is this police action just a reaction to that recurring pattern? Or is there a new, more serious threat, forcing authorities to raise the level of security ahead of his birthday? Until now, those questions remain hanging without any definite answers. For ARMY, this condition triggers a wave of worry and anger. A birthday of an artist should be a moment of celebration, not fear. However, the reality that appears instead reveals the dark side of global popularity. Jungkook has not only become a music icon, but also a target of excessive obsession. Hardcore fans who do not hesitate to ignore idols' privacy have created a tense atmosphere. On social media, various speculations arise. Is Jungkook truly safe at his home? Are the police able to withstand a wave of saesangs who may already be planning various ways to break through security? In deeper analysis, this saesang phenomenon reflects a serious issue about fandom culture in the modern era. Obsession with artists is often disguised as a form of love, when in fact it is a very dangerous invasion of privacy. Jungkook, with all his success, seems to be a victim of that dark side. The question arises, how long must an artist bear such unfair consequences just because of popularity? Does the public truly understand the price a celebrity must pay behind the glittering stage and spotlight? As the police stand guard around Jungkook's residence, many speculations emerge about the kind of threats saesangs might be preparing. Some said they might try to send dangerous gifts, sneak into the housing complex with vehicles disguised as public services, or even bribe certain parties to gain access. All these scenarios create real tension. No one can predict how far they will go, especially if that obsession mixes with a desire to be personally recognized by Jungkook. This is what makes the police presence important, even though it still does not give an absolute guarantee. The atmosphere around Jungkook's house shows growing tension. Imagine a usually calm housing complex now filled with armed officers, patrol cars, and security lines. Neighbors were reportedly uneasy, feeling their environment had turned into a danger zone just because of a handful of people's actions. Ironically, all this happened on a day that should have been filled with happiness. Doesn't this raise a fundamental question about the right of an artist to simply enjoy private life without being strictly watched? In a global context, this case is not only an issue of an idol's privacy, but also a warning about how the modern entertainment world triggers extreme behavior among fans. Jungkook is only one among many artists facing similar threats. However, his popularity and status as a BTS member make every threat feel bigger, more dangerous, and harder to ignore. No wonder ARMY around the world now feel anxious, as if the threat is also emotionally targeting them. Feelings of being threatened and angry mix in their comments on social media. In the end, the most hanging question is, will Jungkook be able to celebrate his birthday in peace, or instead have to spend the day in fear? The police may stand guard all night, but who can guarantee that saesangs will not find another more cunning way? This is where the tension peaks. ARMY keep asking, and the public keep seeking answers that never come. The threat is real, and it is this uncertainty that makes the situation feel increasingly tense. The phenomenon of Jungkook's residence being filled with security forces ahead of his birthday not only provokes shock, but also raises deep questions about the validity of the circulating information. Is it true that the police secured the area because of such a real saesang threat, or is this event actually just a portrayal exaggerated by the media to create sensation? Isn't it true that in today's digital era, information can easily be manipulated to look more dramatic than reality? If it is true that the police deployed a large number of personnel around Jungkook's residence, then the public must ask the reasons behind that decision. Do the authorities truly have concrete evidence of a potential threat, or is this step merely taken as an excessive precaution? Furthermore, if the threat is real, why has there never been any detailed report about saesang individuals who were successfully arrested or identified? These questions are important to ask because the public has the right to know whether the threat is real or just a narrative continually maintained for certain interests. In this context, we must also weigh from the media side. Various platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter often become the main sources in spreading issues related to global artists, including Jungkook. But to what extent is the credibility of the information circulating there? Isn't it possible that a short video or photo spread is just a small part of the real situation, then twisted to reinforce the narrative of threat? Are we as consumers of information not trapped in a circle of sensationalism continually reinforced by the logic of social media algorithms that only chase engagement? It is important to realize that behind every short clip circulated, there is a high possibility the information has gone through intentional framing. For example, a video showing police around Jungkook's housing complex may indeed be real, but does that video capture the whole reality? It may be that the police presence has nothing to do with saesang threats, but with another incident coincidentally happening at the same location. Are the public willing to consider that possibility? Or is it easier to believe the dramatic narrative saying Jungkook is being targeted by obsessive fans? Another reflection that must be underlined is the tendency of the public to immediately believe information that matches their emotional expectations. When ARMY hear the news that Jungkook is threatened by saesangs, spontaneous emotional reactions certainly arise: anger, worry, even fear. But are those reactions based on verifiable facts, or merely emotional impulses exploited by certain parties to create a viral wave? Shouldn't we be careful not to become victims of information manipulation that only plays on collective fears? If we look further, this pattern of reporting has actually occurred repeatedly. Every time a major artist faces a significant personal moment, Rumors always appear about saesang threats, privacy invasions, or even data hacks. Does this pattern show a truly consistent threat? Or does it actually reveal that saesang issues have become a news commodity that is always effective in attracting clicks, views, and public attention? Does the public really believe that every detail spread is fact? Or are we actually enjoying a narrative deliberately built to appear tense? Furthermore, let us ask a fundamental question. Why do news of saesang threats always appear at crucial times, such as birthdays or artists' personal events? Is this coincidence? Or is there a pattern deliberately maintained so that every important artist's moment becomes material for media sensationalism? If true, who benefits most from this situation? Is it the artist himself, whose popularity indirectly remains intact through controversy? Or is it the media and certain parties who gain profit from the increasing public interaction on such news? Of course, we cannot simply blame the public for reacting emotionally. ARMY's love and care for Jungkook is something real and sincere. But on the other hand, has that care been systematically exploited to create never-ending drama? Isn't it true that behind the scenes, there are always parties who know very well that linking Jungkook's name with saesang threats is the most effective formula to draw mass attention? These provocative questions must continue to be raised, because if not, we will only be trapped in a cycle of news that is never verified. In addition, the psychological impact of such news must also be considered, both for Jungkook himself and for his fans. If the threat is real, of course the mental pressure Jungkook experiences is enormous, especially on a day that should be full of happiness. However, if this news turns out to be exaggerated or even deliberately fabricated, then who will be responsible for the unnecessary fear and anxiety experienced by millions of ARMY worldwide? Is it ethical for the media to toy with the public's emotions through narratives whose truth is unclear? More critically, isn't it time the public demand clearer transparency regarding this issue? If the police are truly involved, why has there never been an open statement about the scale of the threat faced? And if this news actually comes from unverified social media sources, shouldn't the public be more skeptical before believing it completely? Are we willing to continually be passive consumers of unclear news? Or do we dare take a reflective stance to question every circulating detail? In the end, the core of this issue is not just about whether Jungkook's residence was really filled with police or not, but about how we, as the public, respond to the flood of information in the digital era. Will we continue to let ourselves be carried away in the current of sensationalism, or will we begin to build a critical attitude that questions every narrative? Does this news truly reflect reality, or is it just fabrication to maintain public attention? These questions must be asked repeatedly so that the public is not only an object, but also an active subject in responding to the flow of information. Therefore, let us reflect together. Do we truly believe that this event is real, or are we being shown a grand drama deliberately staged? Is the news about Jungkook's residence guarded by police a fact, or just a sensational story designed to provoke emotion? And if this is indeed only fabrication, how long will we allow ourselves to be trapped in such games? This reflection is important because behind every circulating news, there is a high possibility that truth and falsehood are intertwined, and it is the public who must dare to sort and question.